past, fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Q's show here, and well, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Junto. And well, quite a bit of things have happened. Now, Junto has currently moved a large zeppelin just outside of the Demon Realm's territory. And just 50 miles away, they have a city. Now, Deku has done some poking around enough information gathering to know of a few simple things about the realm itself. However, he is still very curious. Now, Deku, the realms are split up into 3 different categories. People who are loyal to the Demon Lords and will kill heretics. People who are not really loyal to the Demon Lord, but they do respect his rule. If a heretic is found in their city with supposed Dragon Slayer markings on their face, they'll be executed. However, that's all a matter of if they can defend themselves from assassins, or people who go around slaying heretics. And city number 3. If somebody does see these symbols, and if they do know they're genuine, or, well, they believe the person to be the Demon Lord, or the next possible person to take his place, they might be worshipped. Now, this is quite interesting to Deku. These people don't worship the Demon Lord itself, they're quite the opposite. They worship the next one. It's a ritual to them. They see it as somebody stronger taking the mantle, and then purging who they need to, or people who do not respect or simply wish them to rule. It is seen as somewhat of a cleansing, since a lot of people will die. And that would mean that with a smaller number of people to rule over, everybody would be easier to control. Now, the way they see things are very strange, complicated, and questionable to Deku, since he kind of understands some of them. Now, with that being said, we do actually have Deku, who he's headed into the city. Now, Deku knows that this city here, it's kind of a mix of 2 of those categories. There are people who worship the Demon Lord, or the next upcoming Demon Lord here. And there are people who, they are free from the Demon Lord's rule. This place is huge, crazy, and insane. And we do actually have Deku, who he's walking around the city today, and, well, he's testing something. He knows he tested it in a previous city. And yikes. It was quite strange. Now, Deku, he used his Dragon Slayer markings on his face to see what would happen. He was quite literally chased out of a town for having them on him. However, here, he's more curious. Now, Deku, he does go to walk into a tavern. As he does so, everyone does go to turn to look at him and see the markings on his face. As Deku does go to look around. Now, everyone is staring at him, not for the Demon Lord markings on his face, but because the fact that he looks human. Now, Deku's noticed a trend with the Demon Realm, or the Land of the Demons. A lot of the demi-humans over on their side of the world, they look mostly human. There are traits and, well, different variety of them. However, he's noticed that over here, some of them do take on more animal-like appearances. Things as in more prominent features on their faces and, well, looking as if that animal was able to walk on two legs. Now, Deku knows that some of these people are called beastmen, and he was curious about many of them. Apparently, some of them can transform from what he's aware of. However, he doesn't really know too much. Now, he does go to walk through the tavern and look at the man behind the bar, ask him if he does know where this location would be. Now, many people do look at Junto, and one man does actually come walking up to him. Deku looking to see a man who he does seem to have wolf-like ears and a bit of a snout on his face, along with a long tail that does hang to the ground. Who are you? No worries. You don't need to know my name. Why are you looking for that place? Simple. I need to go there. Please. How about this? We have a bit of a match. A match? Yes. You look to got some muscle on you, even though you're a shrimp. Now, Deku does go to bring his hand to a fist, as the man does talk about how they're going to play a little game. I'm going to cock back his hand and throw it a punch. As we actually have Junto, who does bring up his hand and go to throw the punch to his left, bring up his fist and punching the man straight in the stomach. As you do actually have behind the man, where his spine and some organs do come flying out. And Deku does still have his hand remain there, as he does pull it backwards and go to push the man backwards, as everyone does see that he's perfectly clean. However, behind that guy, it's a bloody mess. Deku going to look back towards the man and just ask the same question. The man quite stunned. That guy was a mercenary, and his reputation for his crew was pretty prominent here. Do you know where it is or not? Yes, I do. Now, the man will give Deku the information, as he does go to leave. Now, we do actually have our people, they do watch Deku leave. Many of them were laughing whenever he came in. However, now they're not. Now, we actually do have outside, where many people, they do go to rush towards Deku since he just killed their boss. And Deku does go to bring up his hands, as he does use red thread and shred them all to pieces, as he does grab their weapons and immediately impale them with them. Deku looked over them because he was quite curious. And, well, they were made of mysterious metal he doesn't understand. However, there was really nothing special about them. Here, this is just a typical sword. Now, Deku did loot their bodies and take their weapons again, as people they did just see this guy casually do that. Now, Deku does at least check around a bit more, selling the weapons, getting extra money, and heading to the place he was told. Now, we do have where he does go to walk in to this location. As many people all around, they are looking. Many turn their head to see Junto, as he does walk up to a man and look directly at him. Is this the place where you worship the next one? The next one? Why, yes, it is. Have you come to join us? No. I'm curious. If the next one was to appear before you, would you aid him in his quest? Well, that is quite an interesting topic. However, for the safety of my people here, I will not answer it. I see. Now, Deku, he does go to break up his hand, as does some of the Sword of the Demon Lord. And many people do stare at that. Now, the man in front of Deku, he does go to call him out, telling him that that weapon is probably a fake. I can assure you this is the real deal. I'm sorry, I do not believe you. We possess such a weapon like that here. However, there are many differences in it. I see. Now, Deku does look at the man, asking him where this weapon is. And the man he would go to explain. Now, you do actually have where he does take Deku to the weapon. They headed down a staircase, and they looped around a few areas. Deku having to wait for the man to turn off certain traps. Now, Deku is brought forth as he does see a sword sitting down on a table. And he does just stare at it quite confused. It's not in a stone. Why would it be? Well, it's just I found mine in stones. Your swords must be fakes then. The sword in the stone is preposterous. Yeah, I doubt that. Now, Deku would go to walk forwards, as the man does warn him that he will be killed. Please, don't associate me with any other low-ranking demon. Now, Deku would walk up to the sword as he does look down at it, asking his system if this is another sword. Yes, assumption is correct. Sword is verified as Demon Lord. Perfect. Now, Deku, he does get to do one simple thing. Grab the sword by the blade as he does spin it around and show everyone. Before he does, go to grab the handle. And everyone, they do expect Deku to either explode or to peel like a banana, as mainly do watch on with shock on their faces. Now, Deku, he does watch as Malin do go to drop to their knees. Him bringing his hand up and telling all of them to just stop. But you're the one, aren't you? As I said earlier, I am. Now, give me your answer. Yes, we will aid you in your quest. Perfect. Now, Deku will give these people the location of his airship, informing them that they need to head there with supplies, and possibly even bring items that may aid them. He wants to know more information about this area, and once he does have that information, he can make better assumptions to take over the role, since the former Demon Lord's already been killed. I'm sorry, the Lord's already been killed? Yes, she has. And with that, I believe this is the perfect time to take over. That's why you're here. Did you already... No. I should have been, but someone beat me to it. I see. The hero. Yes, perhaps. Deku clearly lying. Now, he does give them this information and leave, as we do have after they've arrived and begin to explore... I almost bit my tongue. They begin to express and share as much information as possible, writing things down as everybody does just look at Junto, since this language they're speaking isn't one that they can understand. Now, Deku has spent his free time not only trying to learn this language himself, but at least mimic and copy it. He's heard people use certain phrases and certain sentences, and with his parallel minds, they've been running through the simulations, or at least ideas, over and over again, practicing conversations and interpreting other things. Whenever it is needed, another parallel mind will actually take over for Deku and speak or listen, since it's way too complicated for him to try and just to study by himself. Since he did look at the pages written down once, he knows what they do mean, or at least say, compared to regular notes. Now, Deku he does explain to everybody what's happening, and many of them are all quite surprised. Now, yeah, while Deku is currently formulating a plan, or at least a strategy, we do actually have the, well, let's just say, offspring of the Demon Lord, who they are paying close attention to Deku, keeping a close eye on him, and they're curious. They've seen the way he has been acting. He seems like he might be changing, just the way she does want him to be. Now, she does actually go to look towards one of her subordinates, as she does give one of them an order and look at the other one, informing them about what they do need to do. Now, both these two do go to stand up, as one man clad in black armor, he does just tell, well, his leader that he will accomplish his mission, even if it does mean his death. As, well, the offspring of the Demon Lord does look to their left, and look at the vampire that does stand there. And will you complete your mission? Yes, my lady. I believe it is certainly possible. You just wish me to do this and nothing else. I could help him. You have your mission. You know what to do. If you don't complete your mission, it's going to be a problem. I want to see if he would take the opportunity to save people. However, I am also quite curious if he would try to recruit you. If he does go to do this, do keep in mind, if he does get a hold of your name, your true name, that will be quite troublesome. Yes, I understand. However, I am also aware that my allegiance is not to you. It was to your mother. As far as I'm aware, you do not know my true name, is that correct? I will keep that information to myself very much. Now, follow your orders. Now, the vampire will go to leave, as so is the man in the armor. Now, we actually do have the present day, still around the time Deku is currently going through the Demon City, as we do cut over to his mana copy, where he's currently going over a few things with people at the dojo. Now, we do actually have Tori and Lee, who they are teaching the classes there and going over things with students, along with many of the other members of the Black Wolf clan who are actually around Tuska's age, or at the very least, 5 to 3 years older than her. Now, many different people, they are all training and working very hard, as we also do have somebody who is trying to help lead the students in a bit of a special class. Now, that would be Sylvia. Now, she's trying to teach the students about mana control, and it's quite interesting to her. Now, these techniques she learned when she was a child. In fact, she and her people, or her family line, they've been practicing these techniques for generations, making improvements on them, and quite simply just mastering these arts. Now, she does actually go to bring her hands up, as she does clap them together and then pull them apart. Everybody watching as strange things begin to start happening between her hands, as a blue orb does form. Now, everyone is staring at that, as Sylvia, she does then go to bring up one of her hands and put the orb onto her finger, as she does just do one thing. She does look to a tree that's outside the dojo, bring her finger up, and watching as she does go to flick it. Everybody watching as it does go to fly off towards the tree and blast off a branch. And everyone is look quite surprised. Alrighty. Now, that is just one of the many techniques I do know. In fact, if you were to use that technique with a blade, I believe that you could amplify its power. Now, many students do want to jump at the chance. Miss Tuska, she's never shown them anything to do with mana. And right now, if they do learn that type of attack with their training, they can master it whenever they reach adulthood, whenever they get their real swords. Now, we also do actually have Laura and Claire. They are both around. Laura is actually inside the dojo and talking to a few students, who they did actually go to steal some of the real weapons that were kept there. And she's giving them a very hard time. Now, as for Claire, she's currently over with Junto and everybody in his house. Now, we do actually have this copy of Junto, who he was yelled at for still being around, but after he did explain himself, they kind of did understand. The idea that he's going to be absent for this would piss them off. They understand it perfectly, but still, it's at least something that he feels he shouldn't miss. Now, at this point, I do want to say if I do have to give this a number, the three girls are all around 2 months or more pregnant. And it's quite interesting. Now, we do have Faye and Claire. They both are there. Faye is quite curious. She knew about all this after Junto basically revealed it. And she did want to see exactly what's happening here, since she herself has been curious about a few things. Now, currently, Faye, she's trying to talk to Ray. And it's quite interesting. If she's correct, this was the one that she would try to visit Junto in the cocoon. She seemed to be very, what's the right word? Protective. And, well, territorial. However, right now, this woman is not. You can talk to her, speak to her, and actually hold a conversation with her. Especially because she's doing things that she doesn't think she would typically do. And it's quite interesting. Now, you also do actually have Victoria, who, right now, she's currently at least, I would say sitting down to eat something, or maybe she could be out shopping. Now, you do actually have Belle, who she's talking with Claire, and she's very curious. Currently, Belle, she's in the kitchen cooking. And we do have Junto, who he is actually asking Belle if she really does feel like having that for a snack, as he does look over at the plate she currently has in front of her. And it's quite strange. Claire, did you really have to bring those things? She asked for them. Still, half the ingredients in that sandwich, they don't go together with that. Maybe. But you can't deny someone like that. I never said it was a bad thing, but she does know how to actually cook, And she really shouldn't be. I understand that, but I'm just saying. She knows what tastes good and what doesn't. I get your point. However, sometimes you just can't fight these things. How would you know? Well, experience. My mother and at least some people I used to know growing up, I've seen it. Okay, sure. Speaking of which, I should probably talk to the original. I've had some suspicions of a few things, and I need to confirm it. Okay. Now, Gento is going to stand and leave, since he does want to walk outside and have this conversation there. Now, Deku, he does going to sit down, as he does try to reach out in his head, trying to find that mental connection. If it does work from this far, things will be alright. However, if it doesn't, he's going to have to use those crystals. Now, we actually do have where the connection, yeah. It was uneasy or harder to have since you had to have absolute focus, and that was almost impossible. Since the current Gento, or the real Gento, he was in the meeting. And well, basically he was not even paying attention to trying to reach out for his own connection. Now, this is where he did actually try to use a mana crystal. And even then he did still get no response. As he did try again sometime later and get through, asking the original a few questions. It sure will be fine. Hashi is there, isn't he? The dragon? That's the thing. I've not been able to find him. Okay. Well, leave him be. He usually comes back on his own if you can't whistle and find him like that. Or, well, he's gotten into some trouble and he'll be by soon. Are you sure? Yeah, that's usually how it is. However, you do still have the hero Todoroki. He himself is still in town, I believe. If not, then things could be more problematic. I see. Well, I would go to check, but I do have a few questions. Alright. Now, this Gento would go to ask the real one these questions. As Deku does, at least try to think about them. He believes the answer to many of those are correct. However, that does bring up another problem. Yeah, he's just adding on to it now. Now, with that being said, I do believe that will be a good point to leave this part off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.